I just turned 30, and these are some things that I wish my 20-year-old self could hear, and not from somebody who I saw as out of touch or I perceived was out of touch. These are things that I would have liked to hear from somebody who I, admired or wanted to be like, right? So, to my 20-year-old self, and if you're in your 20s, listen close, because you're going to be 30 before you know it. Trust me when I tell you that. You might have heard this before, it's gonna, you're going to grow up quick. I don't even got to repeat that. Number one, you're not that smart. You're just not. And being articulate does not equate directly to intelligence. You might be articulate, you might be a good debater. That doesn't mean you're smarter than anybody. It doesn't mean you're smarter than your parents or your teachers now, or you might have better memorization, right? You might have better memorization. You might have remembered a thing or two more than a teacher or a parent. It doesn't mean you're smarter than them. And let's just be smart for a second, right? You've been on earth for 20 to 29 years, right? This is for people who are in their 20s, right? I'm 30 now. You've been on this earth for that amount of time. Do you really think you know more than somebody who's been on earth twice as long as you? Just think about that. And that's why, if you think back in the old days, we used to respect elders, and that's where respecting elders. And we used to look at elders for knowledge, right? We used to look at our elders for knowledge, and our elders would pass down the knowledge. And if you were older, you were considered more wiser. Now, yes, there are outliers to that. And yes, we are in different times now where new technology is coming out, and the younger generation is obviously going to be more equipped to deal with some of this new technology, right? But, just because you're a kid and you're computer savvy, even, that doesn't mean you're smarter than somebody who's older than you, because you know how to, work the computer, and they, and then they're ignorant about, computers. They're not computer literate. A lot of older people in my life are not computer literate. And to me, it just comes naturally because I was raised like that. But things like different things that they grew up with, they're way more competent than we are. You know what I mean? Sometimes things like having a face-to-face conversation with somebody, meeting a stranger, to them it's just like, oh, that's what we did. We talked to people outside, or buying some property. They might be more equipped with doing a job interview, certain different things. It's just different. It doesn't mean you're better. It's just different types of knowledge. But going back, they've been on earth longer than you, so they might have some things you could learn from, young bull. All right? And young girl, just open your mind to the idea that you're not the smartest person in the world. You're not the smartest person in your family, and maybe you are. Maybe you are really smart. Maybe you are, the smartest. But the smart person knows that there's always more learning. And the smart person knows when to say, I don't know. So think about that. If you're somebody who never says, I don't know, I'm sorry, you're not that smart. Straight up, you're not that smart. You got to know what you don't know sometimes. You got to know when to say, I don't know. So that's number one. And, number two is you don't have to win every argument. You just don't. And sometimes I've felt more on top when I've not engaged in a debate, even when I know hands down I could have won the debate. I could have made someone feel, silly or feel, stupid, but I felt, just because you're right it doesn't mean you need to prove to the world that you're right every time. And now, number 3, the flip side of that, when you believe in something, I want you guys to stand for it, right? And this is something that I dealt with growing up in my teens and in my 20s, is just not speaking up enough, you know? So there's an inverse. There's like speaking up too much and always trying to be right, and it's two extremes. You got to be right every single argument, you know? That's not, you know, no one's gonna want to engage. You're not gonna be pleasant to be around when you always need to be right. And then the flip side is just never standing up for yourself when you know you're right, you know, and you get walked over. And these things take practice. It takes willpower, knowing you're right and knowing you can win an argument and still, you know, just sitting back and playing the back seat and just letting things play out, letting other people, whatever. And it also takes some bravery, some courage to actually speak up for yourself and say, hey, no, I actually believe in XYZ. And I'm gonna make my beliefs known. I'm gonna make my voice be heard. You know, I'm not gonna be walked over. I'm not gonna just stay silent. And there's a middle ground to be found. What else? Number 4, you're gonna value your health one day. One day you're gonna value your health more than you realize right now. You know, right now it's all fun and games, you know. Yeah, my metabolism is great, you know. Oh, my immune system, I'm strong, I'm fast. I can eat junk food. Like, what? I eat French fries and burgers all the time from McDonald's. I'm good, you know. Yeah, vegetables, nah, I don't really like vegetables. You know, soda, what's wrong? A little soda every now and then is not bad. Or a little soda every now. What does that saying mean? Every now and then? Every now and then. Doesn't that mean like all the time? Why do we use that to mean like some of the time? If it's every now and every then. But, you know, you're going to value your health, okay? There's going to come a point where you value your health and you actually want to be healthy and you want to have a well-functioning body. You know, you want to be able to go for a jog and, you know, not be on your last breath. Like, you know what I mean? You're going to want to be able to climb a flight of stairs and just not be like on your freaking deathbed, you know? Or you're going to want to, you know, play fight or play a sport, something. You know, you're going to want to have your body in a good shape eventually, right? And even though you might be physically, you know, built, you might have muscles, it doesn't mean your insides are working well. You could still have, you know, poor like lung capacity. Like you could still have like bad liver, you know, if you're eating bad, you're drinking alcohol and things like that, smoking, whatever have you. Like, but when you're younger, you know, when I was younger, I didn't really value exercise as much as I do now. I used to only exercise the top. I would only do push-ups and curls. And I was like, nobody does legs. I'm not going to do legs. And now I'm 30 and I'm like, yo, I'm 6'3". My legs are like some of the most important muscles that I need to have built on my body. Like I'm a tall guy. Of course I need legs. I walk. I need them to walk. I need them to run. I play sports. I need them, you know, for everything. You need your legs for everything. So it's like, that's your base. That's your root. So, you know, if you got that right, you're in good shape. So, yeah. If you start now, you'll get ahead of the game, right? You'll get ahead of the curve. You know, if you start now, you don't need to wait till you're 30 to say, oh man, I should have changed my diet, or, oh, I should have started exercising. Now I'm too old now, or, you know, God forbid, oh, now I got an injury. Now my back hurt. Like, oh man, I can't get in shape. Like, you don't want to wait till you can't do the things that you wanted to do, man. Number 5, man. Number 5. I don't know when this saying was originated, YOLO, but the way it has been used in culture, in I guess American culture, maybe around the world too. Flip it around. Flip it around, right? So traditionally people use YOLO to mean I'm gonna do the craziest, silliest, riskiest thing ever because you only live once. I want you to flip that around, and I want you to do the right thing, do the healthy thing, do the, I'm not gonna say never take risks, but do the calculated risk, right? Because you do only live once, and you want to do it right. You want to get the things that you want to get done, because you're only going to live once. Hope you guys found some value in that. I'll see you in the next video.